And the thing about setbacks, it's not if, it's when you're going to have them. You're going to have them. You're going to have growing pains. You're going to have people that's going to let you down, whether it be somebody on your team or a customer can let you down, you know. And, you know, in my 21 years, there's been more than one time where I thought about, I just can't do this anymore. It's too tough, you know, and you're going to face that potentially at some point in time in your career. But you have to remind yourself that let's just make it through today. Let's win today. Tomorrow's a different day. And every time that I have thought about this is too tough, it always gets better.
Welcome to another episode of Konnect Media, and today we got another special guest with us today. I've been knowing this person for about 2 or 3 years now, and man, we done business together. I done learned a lot from him, and man, I want to introduce my man, Chad Mills. So Chad Mills, tell us about yourself, and just kind of introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm from Pontotoc and been there all my life, and raised my kids there. I have married to Nicole and have 4 kids. Jolin, who is 21, and he's in his first year of dental school. And then my next son is John Mark, who is also in college. He plays golf in college. And then we step all the way down to Lydia and John Ledger, who are still toddlers. So there's a big gap right there. But I've been in business in Pontotoc for 21 years. And we started very small. And we have grown to something pretty special.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you said business. What business that you do? Let the people know.
So I own Mills, or I started Mills Home Center, and I have a partner there now. And then I'm in the mobile home transport business, where we transport homes primarily in 3 states. And we have a very large inventory of rental houses in 3 states: Missouri, Illinois, and Mississippi. And have an insurance agency there in Pontotoc where we sell insurance, and mobile home supply store, and then also a tiny house building business where we manufacture and sell tiny homes. So it's a wide array of things. I may have forgotten something. That's pretty much it.
Hey, businessman, that's what that's called right there. And,
yes, sir.
And like you said, you do a lot, you came a lot, and I just want you to kind of tell us about your upbringing.
Yeah.
I mean, you wasn't always this person. You know, you had to grow into that person, obviously, because that's everything about business. You have to grow into that person. So if you would love to tell us, I would love for you to tell us about your upbringing.
Yeah. So you've actually seen the house before that I grew up in. Just a little old single wide trailer, you know, 2 little small house, and was raised by a single mother. Father not in the picture. In fact, I would say 90% of my childhood he was in prison. So, you know, just not having a father figure in your life to teach you things and show you things and to try to help keep you out of the ditches of life, you know, that just was non-existent for me. And growing up that way, I understand how important it is in a household to have a father in the picture. But anyway, grew up there and lived in that house until I was 21 and got married. I did graduate high school, almost dead last in my class as far as academic wise. It was literally almost dead last. And tried to go to college. And after I failed the first semester. Tried again to pass another semester, failed it, and just realized that I probably better have a good work ethic if I'm ever going to, you know, have any type of success in life. So that's kind of how I started out. You know, once I got out of college or failed out of college, I went to the furniture factory and started building furniture, and had a few jobs in between that point and the time that I started my business, but mainly just a manual worker, you know, labor worker.
Man. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing, because coming from that upbringing and then being able to do what you do now, it inspired, of course, me. I know it have inspired others, but man, Cause I know how it is out here when you're trying to grow a business, or if you want to do great things, and it's kind of hard when you don't have the resources at first. You know, it's hard to see it.
Hardest thing you'll ever do.
Yeah.
You know, and when you talk about not having money, I remember when I first got married on into I think it was the first year of marriage. I was bringing home $315 a week, 40-hour a week, and I'll never forget the time that I had to ask my mother if she could loan me $100 to pay my electric bill, because if I didn't have it paid within a day or two, it was going to be cut off. And she told me she didn't have it because she was struggling financially as well. And you know, I never forgot what that felt like. So, you know, coming from that point to where I am now, you never, no matter how far in life you go, if you come from where I came from and where many other people have come from, that's still your roots, and you never forget that.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't like that period of time in my life. It wasn't fun, but I appreciate it very much and have never forgotten it.
Yeah. It helped shape who you are now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I truly believe if I had not grown up the way I grew up, I may not have the drive that I have today. Yeah. You know, and I think that has a lot to do with why I have the drive that I do, because of where I come from.
And I can honestly speak on the same thing, because if I didn't go through the hiccups or the downs or the failures that I had in my life, I wouldn't be able to do. I wouldn't be as motivated. I wouldn't be as passionate for what I do now, because if I wasn't back then, you know, I wouldn't have it. So
that's exactly right.
But yeah, I kind of, just to hit on that part, I want to say, like, I think every man or every person really, they always get to a point in their life when they trying to do a business or anything that's hard in their life. They always get to a point where they just like, they sit down and just think like, I'm sick of this. And when they really have that moment that they tired of living how they living, that's when it's finna start turning around.
And we all have faced that, and that's what I did. I got tired of being tired, and I wanted to do something about it. But I had nobody had ever trained me about money and finances and how to grow wealth. I had no training. I had to figure it out along the way. But it got to the point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, to start doing things.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I want to lead into, like from your upbringing, and kind of what inspired you to grow or start a mobile home company. Yeah. Like, I kind of want to talk about that. Yeah. So, and how did you scale it to your profits that you have now? Yeah. So I was
working at the Walmart distribution center in New Albany, where I was a manager there. And my father-in-law had been talking to me about coming to work with him. He had this business that he had been in business a couple of years. And he just needed some management help, somebody to help him run the business. And, you know, I had a good career at that time with Walmart, and I felt like I had potential for growth. And, but anyway, we kept talking, and he finally talked me into coming to work for him. And so I worked for him for 1 year at this dealership. And at the end of that year, I had a year's worth of seeing the potential and seeing what could be done. And I didn't give him an ultimatum, certainly didn't do that, but I just went to him and said, look, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I want to either buy you out or I'm probably going to find something else to do, you know. Right. And he thought about it for a week or so, and he gave me a price, and it wasn't a son-in-law price. I mean, I had to pay full price for it. And he gave me a price. I had no idea how I was going to borrow this money. You know, it was a lot of money. And but I went to my banker, and you know, he believed in me. I had never owned a business before. I had never borrowed this kind of money before, and he loaned me the money. Wow. And here we are today. Wow. You know. Yeah, so, but having a great work ethic, a great vision, and a banker that believes in you will carry you a long way in life. Heck yeah. It ain't gonna lie, it kind of reminds me of my grandfather's story. I ain't gonna make it long at all, but basically, around here in my city, they know, when you hear the last name Bynum, you know that we're hardworking people.
And that's kind of like the reputation we have around here. And the story is my grandfather was trying to, you know, he raised 9 kids, 1 arm.
Wow.
Yeah, so he did that, and he was starting a business, lawn business, cutting yards. And he needed some money to get his first, I think it was a 0 turn or some type of lawnmower.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to loan the money, right? And he went to the guy at first, the bank guy, and the guy wouldn't give it to him. But then when he said, I'm keeping it short, but when he told him his last name and who was his grandfather was, it's all set in stone. Yeah, and so like I just say, by working hard and making a good name for yourself, being trustworthy and honest with people, your name means way more. It costs way more than money.
That's exactly right.
It costs way more than money. So
and legacy means everything to me. It really does. Doesn't mean that I have made everyone happy in my 21-year business career. That's impossible to do that. But I still believe that I can make it. Yeah, I still believe I can make everyone happy, but that's hard to do. But I sleep very well at night knowing that at the end of each day, I've given my customer everything I have. And my wife, when I come in very tired, mentally and physically, she knows, she can tell you, I give my customers everything I have each and every day. And you know, I think most of our customers understand and appreciate that. Yeah. But to the lawnmower story you was talking about, him, when I was 15 years old, my banker, that was the first loan I ever had, was to buy a lawnmower. At 15, he loaned me $6,000 to buy a riding lawnmower because I was mowing grass in the community. And that's what I did for a high school job.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that something?
We had about 30 yards that we kept mowed.
Ain't that something,
my best friend and I at the time. So,
nah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I can appreciate his story.
I know you can.
On the mowing side.
Yeah, I appreciate him too because even the studio, I feel like his name and him as a person helped me get this place. Because once I told the guy who my grandfather was and he seen what I've been trying to do, it was no brainer that he wanted to give it to me for a certain price. So I was like, man. Yes. So I think that's why we kind of connected. When we first talked to each other, we kind of had that connection where it was easy to talk to each other because we have the same values.
That's right.
I would say same values.
Absolutely.
About legacy, because I'm big about that.
I am as well.
Big about that. Like I said on the podcast before, like, yeah, you see it all, but I'm not really doing it for myself. I'm really doing it for my family when I have them. So,
and what he invested in you to show you that's exactly what I do with my 2 oldest sons, or what I have done. You know, you're gonna make a name for yourself, and it can be good or bad. Doesn't mean you won't make mistakes.
You're gonna make mistakes.
We've made mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. But what I tell people is, if I make a mistake, don't judge me by that mistake. Judge me by what I do when I make a mistake, because you know we're gonna make it right every time. But instilling those values into your kids, that was huge for me, as it was for him, you know, to do that to you. But yeah, that name carries a lot. It goes a long way.
It does. Yeah. And so back to your mobile home company. How did you scale it to where you got it to now? How did you scale it? Did you have a plan or?
You know, I would love to sit here and tell you that I did, but, you know, understand I was a very uneducated man. Never ran a business before. So everything that I learned through trial and error, through making mistakes, through trying something that maybe didn't work, and you know, just keep trying, keep working. But when I bought the company, I bought a piece of land, and I bought, there was a few repo mobile homes and 1 mobile home truck. And so we were buying all of these repos. The market was flooded at that time with repos. And what most people were doing were buying them and reselling them. Well, I was buying them to set up for rental property for a later gain. I was, you know, my profits were not so great then, because I was taking all that money and reinvesting into rental properties.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because I wanted to turn my earned income into residual income. Gotcha. And that is what I tell people all the time. Work, very little sleep, do nothing but work, and take your earned income and turn it into residual income, passive income, where if I'm vacationing or I'm sleeping or I'm doing whatever, I'm not at work, I'm still making money. And that needs to be your goal. And it needs to be everybody's goal that's watching this podcast. Work your tail off right now. Keep your head down. Do nothing but work. Don't vacation. Don't go buy new vehicles. Don't go buy big houses. You need to be retaining every penny that you make and turning it into residual income, you know. But how I scaled it, the easiest way to answer that question is I learned after a period of time that you have to build a great team, because I was trying to do all this solo and that failed, you know. And as I started building my team, I started watching my growth go crazy. And we started growing very quickly, very big, but it was because I was hiring people much smarter than me that works just as hard as I do. And that's the key to, you know, I have a lot of weaknesses, so I try to hire people that their strong points are my weaknesses. So when you build that team, that everybody's strong points just meshes together, and they want to be just as successful as you are. That to me is how you scale a business to have major growth.
I believe that because, you know, I worked with y'all in the past and did commercials and stuff, and you saying that, as I look at the individuals, they have strong points. A lot of them do. They do. Each and every one of them, they do.
Yes.
And man, that's crazy. I had a point to make about that, but I am in the works of training people. And but yeah, I was gonna say, a lot of people been telling me that about work hard as you can, because once you get a certain age, you gonna feel different. Your energy is not where it used to be. I've been hearing that a lot lately.
Yeah, so. But on the other side of that, you have a lot of people say, you know, life is short, don't work it away.
They do say that.
I don't believe that philosophy.
They do say that.
And anybody that's preaching that philosophy, in my opinion, is wrong. You know, because I say work like no other, so one day you can live like no other. And there's also that live like no other now, so you can live like no other later. Because when I was building my business, a lot of my friends were going on vacations. They were buying new vehicles. They were building new houses. They were doing all these things. And I was living like I was on the poverty level, literally. But I was making a good living. But I was taking all of that money and reinvesting it because I knew one day I would be working because I want to, not because I have to. And that's where I'm at today. I never have to work again, but I still have that same drive.
It really never leaves you. Like
it's just that internal drive that it doesn't matter where I'm at. I want to continue to grow, you know, and so that's what I've tried to instill in my kids. And it's not the love of money. I don't do this for money. Money just comes with it. I do it for the passion of starting something and watching it prosper. And if you talk to a lot of people in my shoes that are much more successful than me, they'll tell you that it's not about the money. It's nothing about the money. You know, it's just about growth and seeing what your ideas put into place and watching them do big things.
I have people in my corner that they say the same thing. That's higher than me, they got more money than me, they always say the same thing. So I hear it very often. And like I always say, money is just a tool. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
It's nothing. It's not really that important. It's important for the opportunities, but it's not the sole purpose of your life. It's not. No.
And I talk a lot about money. But it's not because I love money. It's because it, like you said, it's a necessity. It's a tool. You have to have it to live in life. And I just want to show people how to be better financially. I talk about it a lot. I've been dead broke, and now I'm not broke, and life is just better on this side, you know, than it was when I had no money. And you know that saying, more money, more problems, that is absolutely the truth. But no money has more problems too. So we have to choose. We want more money, more problems, no money, more problems. And I'm going to pick more money, more problems.
I'd rather have a lot of money and have problems.
That's
than
exactly
don't
right. That's right.
But my father told me that too. He said, man, He said, work now, play later. That's what he always told me.
Absolutely.
Even when I was like, he used to kind of put it in my head when I was like 12, 8. Like, man, one day it's gonna get a time you got to work.
Yep.
So just just know that you ain't gonna just live with me and stuff all the time.
That's
so I always kind of had it in my back in my head that when I get the opportunity and when it comes, I'm gonna know and I'm gonna really go for it. And when it came, it did.
Yeah, I follow you and I watch your content, and I mean, you do great work. It's very impressive.
I've been plotting on it for a while. I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I live by what you were saying about not spending your money on certain things, because that's what I did. I put it all into my business, all into it. And a lot of people, they didn't think it was a smart idea just to buy equipment, or a lot of equipment. But I wanted to get to the point where I know that I have the equipment. So if a big job comes, I got the equipment.
That's right.
I know I'll be confident if I go to that shoot and do it.
Yes.
So just like yesterday, we had a shoot where it was fast paced. We moving to different places. I couldn't really set up how I normally would set up, but it's okay because I have the actual mobile equipment to do it because I've been invested in that type of work.
Yes.
So I always tell people, like, in the beginning, it's not gonna be how you want it to be. It's gonna be hard. The beginning is supposed to be hard.
That's correct.
I never heard of where a beginning is easy. If it is, I mean, it's finna leave or something.
My saying is, and
it's
kind of a cliche, if it was easy, you'd have a lot more competition because everybody would be doing it.
That's so true.
Yes,
that is true.
But, for many years of my life, business life, if it was not something that made me money, I did not spend money on it.
Same, yeah.
If it cost me money, I had no use for it. And, but now I'm to the point where I can do that if I want to. I still don't do it that much, but if I want to go buy a boat, I can.
Right.
If I want to go buy a Rolls Royce today, I could.
Right.
I would never do that because that, to me, that's just ridiculous to spend money on something like that. I'm not a showboat type person, but I like knowing that I could if I wanted to. Yeah. But I would never do that, and there are people who do that, and that's fine. But I just like to spend my money again, and I'm gonna say this many times.
Yeah.
Spend money on something that makes you money.
If it don't benefit you, just leave it alone.
That's right. And don't buy it if it's not a tax write-off.
That too.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it.
That's a whole different aspect of business that, man, I'm learning too about taxes or whatnot. But I learned a lot in the past year or two just about that. But I want to get into about more of your company. So, times are changing. So, like, how do you envision your company from the decades to come? Because like with social media has been changing the game, and probably the economy and stuff like that. How do you plan to adapt to these changes in this day and age?
As far as our industry?
Yeah.
Well, we're in the affordable housing industry. And even when there's a lot of things changing, there is always a need for affordable housing. That's what I love about what we do. When in the 2008 market, when the 2008 housing market crashed and all that was going on, my business kept growing. When we're in a booming economy and when we're in an economy that is not doing very well, our business stays steady because there is always a need for affordable housing. And that's why that was the where I chose to invest all my time and energy in that. And when it comes to affordable housing, we do it all. We sell affordable housing, we rent affordable housing, we insure affordable housing, we just do it all when it comes to that. So our industry has changed post-COVID because the prices have gone up so much. In some cases, they doubled in cost. But when you compare it to stick-built housing, we're still affordable housing. And, so I don't know what changes we would have to make other than just continue to work hard because it's just one of the most steady industries that I have seen. And I study a lot on that. But I would recommend anybody that if they wanted to get in investments, gear more towards the affordable housing. Now, commercial stuff, you can make more money, but it's a lot more risky.
Is it?
Absolutely, because when you take a commercial building where a business is operating out of and the economy has a major downturn, businesses start closing the doors.
Right.
And when they are they can't pay you.
Yeah.
And you're stuck with that. But somebody, they may not have to have a business. They can leave a business and go work somewhere else. They have to have a home to live in, and they want it affordable.
I like it. So you kind of, the next question I have, you kind of hit on it a little bit, but kind of like your principles. Like which one of your principles that you, or value that you consistently have, how can I say it? That consistently have driven your success that you live by? What principle or value that you have?
It's very simple. Do what's right when nobody's looking. And if you do that, you're not going to have trouble. You're not going to find trouble anywhere you go. You know, and that's what I do when I'm behind the closed doors. And again, that doesn't mean I haven't made mistakes and I've lived a perfect life, because we've all have had setbacks, both business, personal. But when it comes to my customers, we're going to do what is right. And our word means something to us. And if you base your business off of that, I tell my two sons, the two oldest sons, if you show up on time and do what you say you're going to do, word will get out, people will trust you, and people will buy from you. And I tell even our sales staff, you know, if people like you, they'll shop with you. But if they trust you, they'll buy from you. And that's just it. It's just having the trust of our customer, doing what's right. And that will drive anything you're doing to a high level, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can be a testament to that. That is so true.
Yes,
That is so true. I've been to many meetings, I've been to many businesses, and I walk in the door, and I can tell that we're going to end up working together just because of that interaction, because they either like me as a person. Definitely when they like me as a person, I know we're going to end up working together. Even if we don't do it at that instant, I know eventually we would. And so that was a prime example when I came to y'all. When I first talked to y'all, I knew I was going to end up working with y'all one or twice eventually, and then it happened. That's right. So, because I knew, like you said, like I was saying earlier, our values the same. Especially when I met you, because at first I was working with your staff. Right. When I met you, like, from years to come, I know we're gonna end up working on projects here and there. But that is so true, though. It is.
And you know, in our industry, and again, this is something that I preach to our salespeople all the time. We're having pretty much complete strangers coming to our place of business, and they are trusting us with one of the most important decisions of a lifetime, and that's home ownership. They're entrusting you with 25 to 30 years of their life, because that's how long it's going to take them to pay for this house. That's a lot of trust to place in somebody that you barely know. And I try to stress the importance of that to our sales staff, that, you know, you be honest, you be transparent, and even if you're having to tell a customer something that they don't want to hear, you tell them and be straightforward with it, and they appreciate that. And I remind my customers all the time that, look, I'm a consumer too. I like to be done right when I'm buying something from somebody and being told something from somebody. So yes, I do a lot of selling, but I do a lot of buying too, and I know how important it is for a customer to be taken care of, because I'm also a customer to somebody else. So it's a high importance to us.
Just a random thought I had, like, can you tell me a story of, I don't know, just a experience that one of your customers had when they came to you about a home? Like, I don't know what I'm really looking for here, but can you tell me a story, just a customer that you remember that they had a great experience, or a little bit about their story, if you can remember? Do you got one on top of your head?
I can probably tell you a couple of stories. You know, the greatest part I love about what we do is when the kids start running through the house and they're picking out their room. You know, because I remember when my mother bought our house, how exciting that was. And of course I didn't have but one room to pick from, but So it's exciting to put myself back into what those kids are doing right now, the excitement of new home ownership. And when you pull up on site with their new home and the family's there and the kids are there and they're all happy and smiles and they're just so proud to see you there, that's just experience after experience after experience. But as far as a particular story, there's several I could probably pick from, but even just this week, I think yesterday, a customer that bought a home from us sent me a text message that was just telling me how much she loved her home. And this is her first home ever. She's right out of the nest, just moved out. And she said, I just sat out here until dark because she doesn't have power yet, or she has power, she doesn't have septic tank yet.
Right.
But she said, I just sat out here until I can't sit out here anymore. Just so grateful for her home, But there's countless stories like that I've had over a 21-year period that just makes you feel good about the hard work and the effort that you put in. Yeah, the money is okay, but that's the real, true rewarding part, is seeing families being happy and providing them a home where they're going to make memories in that home with their kids and their family and have Thanksgiving dinners. And, that's a very important part in somebody's life that you're playing.
Yeah.
And, so we just love what we do when it comes to that, for sure.
Yeah, it makes sense, because I'm the same way with even my company with the weddings. I always tell them, like, yeah, you're gonna get an amazing video, but at the end of the day, what means to me the most is that you have an experience. When you leave that wedding day, when you leave that venue that night, that you look back and like, God, that was amazing.
Absolutely.
That was fun. If you can say that, that's the only thing that matters to me.
Yes.
The only thing that matters to me.
And that's a special day for people.
Oh, yeah.
I just mentioned to you, I just recently got married in Santorini, Greece.
Right.
And my wife and I still talk about what a wonderful and special day that was, and everybody involved that made it all come together. The photographer over there and the videographer, the person who videoed it, and the cake. And I mean, it takes a group of people to put something like that together and make it a special day for that couple.
Yeah.
And so that what you do for people that's a big deal.
It is. And I tell photographers, like, it didn't hit me till like year 3 that, like, this is important,
Yes, it is.
Like, I made sure that everything was right before then, but like one day it hit me like, they gonna watch this for years.
Yes. And their kids are gonna watch it.
And their grandkids gonna watch it. Like, it really, when that hit me, I really take more pride into it. I got more passionate, especially when I come to the day, because I realized the more passionate I am, the more excited I am, the video just turns out way better. Every single time. Even though I had times where I didn't feel like I could have done better, that video still turns out amazing because I was excited too.
Right.
So, but no, that's the thing about business. If you can give them experience, and definitely when it's something that they're gonna have for years to come,
right?
If you give them that experience, it's gonna be amazing. Money is gonna come your way either way.
That's right. That's just a byproduct of what you do.
Money, but
we're not doing it for. I mean, we're doing. We need to survive and we need to make a living. But I mean, that just the enjoyment of doing that. But what do you? How long do you think people plan for a wedding leading up to that day?
Most of them, they do well. Ladies, they've been planning their whole life just to.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Honestly,
but after the engagement,
it'd be about a year.
Yeah, that's
I
what
had some about 2 years. Some of them they kind of lay it off just because they want to make sure everything right with their lives first, and they kind of take 2 years. But most of them, majority, it'd be about a year.
Gotcha.
I had some. I knew one about 4 months, 3 months.
Quick.
They try to get there, you know. And it same thing turned out just as amazing and everything. So, but I think the average is about a year.
Gotcha.
They give themselves about a good year and go from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that team, I always stressed them, like, make sure you get a team. Make sure you get somebody that love working with each other.
Absolutely.
Because if they buzzing heads, you gonna feel it. Even though you probably won't see it, but you gonna tell.
That's right.
So, but I think that's why people love working with us, like even photographers, because we make sure they get their shots. We make sure they have fun too. Because we do, you know, it's repetitive. You know what you're gonna do and everything. So we try to make sure, like, yeah, we know we're gonna do the same thing, but let's enjoy it. Let's have fun. Let's say the crazy things, whatever, you know. And that's why I think a lot of people recommend us because of that.
That's good.
Like, not only we're gonna give you a video, but we finna have fun while we do it. So
that's great.
But yeah, I had another point you said earlier, but I kind of forgot. But I'm gonna talk about setbacks because everybody deal with failures and setbacks differently. And I want to ask you, like, how do you handle those setbacks, and what advice would you give to, let's say, a young person like me,
right?
To like when they going through it with their business.
And the thing about setbacks, it's not if, it's when you're going to have them. You're going to have them. You're going to have growing pains. You're going to have people that's going to let you down, whether it be somebody on your team or a customer can let you down, you know. And you know, in my 21 years, there's been more than one time where I thought about, I just can't do this anymore. It's too tough, you know, and you're going to face that potentially at some point in time in your career. But you have to remind yourself that let's just make it through today. Let's win today. Tomorrow's a different day. And every time that I have thought about this is too tough, it always gets better.
It does.
You win, you survive today.
Yeah.
Let's survive this week. It always gets better. So you have to, you know, you have to pretty much convince your mind that, you know, yeah, it's tough today. We had a tough month, whatever it is, but you got to have that determination and that grit that no matter how tough it gets, you're not giving up. Because you never fail till you quit.
That's true.
You know, you have setbacks. That to me, that's not failure. That's just part of the process. But then at some point in your career, when you have setbacks, it's not that big of a deal. But those first few, it'll make you think about what you do. You know. But after you weather those storms, you're going to come out. Each storm that I went through, I came out a better and stronger person because of it. Do I wish that, part of me wishes that I had a storm-free, a setback-free career? Who wouldn't want that? But that kind of stuff makes you who you are, you know? And so I would just say you got to have that mindset that you're not going to give up, and understanding that if it was easy, as we said earlier, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think, because I'm in business and I've been rebranding and stuff. And when I'm saying this for the young people or just people in business that's starting out, when you have yourself to a high standard, you have to be careful with that. Because, like, I'm a person where I'm fine. Like, if I really sit down and look at what I'm doing and what's coming to me, like, I'm okay. But it's some fact I want to be so much better where I'm at now that I kind of hurt myself. So I kind of went through that about a month or two ago where I was like, oh my God, I ain't where I want to be. But really, when I sat down and I was talking to a person, he said something, I was like, I'm all right. I had to look around like, I'm okay. You know what I'm talking about? But it's good. You know, I realize it's good to have a high standard because that's what pushes you. And what you just said, like, just get through the day, just take it day by day. I was just feeling like that like a month ago, but now, like, I've been having shoots coming out of nowhere, all of a sudden.
Yeah, and what you just said made me think about something that, you know, a lot of people. So you're not. There's other people that do what you do. Okay, there's other people that do what I do.
Right.
And what you told me is that your only real competition is yourself.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and I say this all the time. We don't focus on what our competition's doing. We focus on what we're doing, and we want to be competition with who we were yesterday, and we want to be better today than we were yesterday. So what you just said, I love hearing, because you're in competition with yourself to make yourself better. You're not where you want to be. So you're thinking, what do I have to do to get to where I want to be? And that to me is one great character to somebody that's going to be very successful, for sure.
I appreciate it. But yeah, like I said, I had to say that because a lot of people see me, they're like, yeah, he got a good life. Like, yeah, I do got a good life. I ain't saying I don't. But like, every times when I'm like, I be questioning it. You know what I'm saying? Dang, what's happening? You know, but I have to remind myself, I'm okay. I'm okay.
That's right.
I feel like everybody just need to do that sometimes. Like, even if it takes you just 10 minutes just to sit down for a second and just think. Don't be so like spontaneous or, quick to do something to make it feel like, I'm finna say, don't mistake movement for achievement. Don't always do that, because sometimes when you move, you ain't moving at all.
That's exactly right.
So I learned, like, when I'm moving, it's for a reason. I'm not just moving just to feel like I'm busy. And I feel like a lot of people, they try to do that, just feel like they're busy. Yeah. But, that's kind of hard in the beginning, because you're not sure what you should be doing. So you're trying a lot of stuff. So I would say in the beginning, try. Right. But when you get to a point where it's kind of already laid out, you got a plan already, that's when you should work accordingly. Right. That's what I think.
And one thing that I want to tell you and encourage you to never do, when you have setbacks, do not make big decisions during those times. Because you're not, in my opinion, in the right frame of mind when you're having setbacks in business or personal life or whatever the case is. I have done that in my past, and I regretted every decision I ever made. When I made a big decision, when I was feeling down, when maybe business wasn't like I wanted it to be, or I was concerned about something, and I would make a knee-jerk decision that ended up costing me big time down the road, So make sure that when you're going through those trials, don't make big decisions that would have a big impact on you.
Gotcha.
Always remember that.
I will, most likely, man. Most definitely I will.
Yeah.
I did want to kind of hit at a book I've been reading too. I kind of like always throw in a book every podcast that I read. I don't know if you ever read it. It's called Master Your Focus.
I've never read that.
Never read it. It's a short book, but that would kind of help me definitely get back on track, like what I'm doing. Like of course I have a plan, like what I want to do, but like it really honed down, went in more detail about what I'm finna do exactly. Yeah. And basically it's just about disciplining yourself. I mean, it's about timing yourself throughout the day, making sure. It's really, for me, it was like the time management. That's what it was for me. Because once you have so many things you can do, and you want to do, you get overwhelmed. And that's what was happening to me. Right. So I had to kind of like, okay, what is the most important thing out of this list? So I started writing it down. So I wrote everything down that I can do. And I was like, what is the most important? And so I made it a goal each day, like, okay, I can just cross that out. So it's like a rewarding setting. And that book helped me realize, like, putting me through that process makes me more calmer. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. It's not all in my head either, because having all in your head, you're gonna forget.
Well, and there's a saying that I go by to talk on that. The palest of ink is better than the best of memory. Remember that.
Yeah, I ain't never heard it.
Everything down. Yeah. Everything down.
Yeah.
And the other is, we all have one room in our house, and that is the room for improvement. And never think that you got it figured out, because you don't. Life is going to continue to teach us lessons, and we're going to continue, hopefully, to improve, through each trial and tribulation. Some of the best lessons I've ever learned in life was when I was in the ditches. There's some good character building when you're down there, for sure.
Heck yeah.
But do you follow anybody, like on social media that you follow, like a lot of people follow Dave Ramsey. I'm a Grant Cardone guy. Is there somebody particular that you follow?
Man, I get a lot of inspiration for a lot of people. So I can't really. I'm thinking of like people in my industry I watch a lot. Then a big person, he's not alive, but Jim Rohn. I always like listening to his stuff. I was kind of like raised off his philosophy. I have watched Grant Cardone. Yeah. I watched him in the past.
It all depends on what your philosophy is and where you're trying to go in life. If your goal is to be out of debt, you need to be listening to Dave Ramsey. But my goal is to be as much in debt as I can be. So I'm a Grant Cardone guy.
Gotcha.
I don't agree with Dave Ramsey on a lot of what he says, because it's not geared towards where I'm going. So it all depends on what your outlook is on life, on who you should follow.
Mine is people like that's in my industry that's like high class, like they charge them $15,000, $20,000. per wedding video or commercial, stuff like that. So like Justin Porter, most people on YouTube, they say I talk like him because I watch them. So that's kind of what's crazy. But I kind of watch them and see how they, of course, go about the experience with their clients. Then also the branding. I've been getting into branding myself better. And just like I was saying, like my branding, I had a person, he talked to me and he was telling me like, you know, your branding for your age and where you at in your area is top notch. But I don't think that because I'm watching other people and then I want it to look better than what it is anyway. So that's why I say I kind of sit back and really look at what you've done. But for me, yeah, there's people like that in that industry. Because I do have a mentor in Corinth. He's been on the podcast. I look up to him a lot. We stay in contact. He give me tips and stuff. I actually help him now too. Surprise, about certain shoes. Like he'll ask me like, what would you do on this? And it's kind of crazy that, like, dang, he actually asked me now too. But
that's respect.
Yeah, and I respect him highly. Like I always tell him, like, if you need anything, you let me know for sure.
Well, branding is definitely, when somebody thinks about photography or video and you want them to think your name at the top of the list, and that takes some time and a lot of consistency in doing that, because that's what I have done with my name. I have kind of just forced my name down people for years on social media, and we got kind of a little catchy phrase, Chad Mills has the deals that's been all over radio and TV and but when people think mobile homes, I promise you they're probably thinking Chad Mills.
I know I do.
Yeah,
I know I do.
And that's what you want.
Yeah, that's what you want.
I get fussed at a lot from people because that Chad Mills has the deals, that song, that jingle, as they call it, it gets stuck in people's head and they can't get it out. And so they call or text me and fuss at me about it. But I'm like, well, that was money well spent because that was the goal.
They call you just to bug you about that. That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, work hard on branding for sure, like that guy told you to do. It's very important.
Damn. That's what I've been doing for sure. And I've been learning, watching other people, seeing how they do it, and just taking bits and pieces of it. And that's where good ideas come from. A lot of people like, dang, how you come up with this? Like literally what I do, what you see me do, I watch this person, I watch this person, I watch this person, that person. And I think of it how I would do it, put it all together. And then when you see it, like, dang, that's great.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. Every person that's in business, they done that with something. They done it. Even my videos, like I've learned, I took bits and pieces of every other filmmaker that I used to watch in the past and say, oh, I like how he did that. I'm gonna shoot it like that. Or I might color it like that. See, and just really put it in my style. And then I add my mix to it, and then you'll think, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it is though. But it is hard to do that, I realize, for some people, because I can literally, I've done this with my mentor. I watch him and I can recreate it for myself. If he give me the camera and I go edit it, I can redo the same thing that he did. And I realized that that's kind of hard to do for some people because people's styles are so different now.
Right.
But that's just a skill. But I feel like if you passionate in anything you do, it's easy to do it.
Absolutely.
You just gotta make sure. I always tell people, if you really want to do it, just make sure you love it. Just make sure you love it first.
I eat it, sleep it, drink it. I think about it. I pray about it. This industry that I'm in, it is a true passion. Yeah. Because you're getting to help people with houses. And I just love it. There is nothing else I could be doing that I know of that, but like you said, that passion to do it.
You gotta have it.
And if you have it, you're going to be successful at it.
No, it's no brainer. And speaking of the mobile homes company, what's some misconceptions that they might have about mobile home?
Yeah, so years ago, long before I got into the industry, and I would say in the 60s, 70s, 80s, they earned it very well, a very bad reputation. They were poorly built, and they just weren't, in my opinion, were not safe to live in. Well, even though we've made in the industry great strides, and these homes are built so well today, They're built with the same materials as a site-built home. We still have to, at times, overcome this stigma. And when I first got into the industry, this was their last option. So if they couldn't afford to build a home or buy a stick-built home, this was their only option. They would come buy a mobile home. Yeah. Well, now, today, this is people's first option. I have sold mobile homes to lawyers, doctors, other medical professions, other entrepreneurs who are doing very well for themselves. This is their first option and they could go build a home. But they are built so well, we can get them much faster, and they just, they look awesome. If people would just educate themselves a little bit more on how they're built today and the codes that they're built to, I think that a lot more people would choose that route. But we still, to answer your question, we still have a stigma. Recently, Lee County, I don't know if you followed what was going on in Lee County over there, but they were trying to pass an ordinance basically that was going to make it impossible to place a mobile home in Lee County. And I got deeply involved with that, and along with a lot of other people that got involved, and got that overturned. But for me, it was just a lack of education by the Lee County Board of Supervisors, and they were going to make it so difficult for a family on a working class income to be able to afford to live in Lee County, and that's just, to me, that was morally wrong. But that goes back to that stigma that we're having to overcome. And there's other counties that need to be addressed on their mobile home ordinances. Yeah. And I'm okay with an ordinance. I don't like them. I think that somebody should be able to do on their land what they choose, as long as it's not illegal and it's not causing a health risk to somebody else. But to tell a man or woman that you can't live on your land in a home that you can afford because it's not one that somebody else would live in, that's morally wrong. Yeah. So, but just overcoming that stigma is what we still fight today. Not as much as it used to be, but it's still there.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's but again, thankfully, we got that ordinance overturned.
Yeah.
So we were able to prevail there. But I'm always going to stand up for the working class person, because that is my core. That's my values. Is for the people who are going to work every day and are driving this country by their labor and taking their money and spending it in their community, and they're just trying to live. They want to live peacefully and just work and take care of their family, and we don't need to be doing things that's going to make it harder on them. Yeah.
Makes sense. And I'm trying to think of a misconception that people have about us, but I know main one that people saying that they don't need a videographer, especially like for wedding wise, or I'm trying to think of something on the corporate side. Well, a lot of them say they could just do it on their phones, and you can. I always say, yeah, you can, but is it gonna really attract the audience? Like, okay, if you build an audience in that way, yeah. But if you never have, because most people I talk to, they never shot a video in their life.
Yeah.
And so they be like, I can just do it on my phone. Well, if you said you should, why you haven't been doing it? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So I think like that's one of the biggest misconceptions, that I can just do it on my phone and do it this way while, but for me, I feel like I was just telling you, I do more than just video now, especially now. I can teach you your demographics. I can tell you how we can tailor it to them. The message across the video is gonna be way better. So like, if like I was saying with me, most of my brides, let's say brides, is in the medical field. I'm gonna tailor the video to them.
Right. I'm
gonna tailor it to them. So when I put it in the back end, the ad or whatnot, I know who to target. We just not just throwing it all across there. And that's one thing I hate about, like, I think I had a customer that told me that I'm just gonna get a billboard. I'm like, okay, a lot of people are gonna see it, but the thing is, like, who's seeing it? You don't know. You don't know who is it.
Yeah.
This way, if you tailor it, you got a certain video, you tailor it to somebody, you know exactly who coming.
That's right.
You know if they got the money or not. You know if that's the client that you want to work with.
Yeah.
If you do on a billboard, somebody see that and be like, I might want to go talk to them. You don't know who that is.
That's right.
You don't know who that is. So
yeah, and billboards, you only have a few seconds.
That too.
As they're driving by.
Like, then they probably already think about where they going. They gonna probably forget about you.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I ain't trying to hate on billboards, but I had a client that they kind of like, I'm just gonna spend the money this way. Like, okay, that's fine. That's your investment. But in this age where we at, people are here.
It's social media.
It's right here.
I've told my team, and I've done billboards before, and I'm like you, I'm not hating on them.
Yeah, I ain't either.
But I just, for me and what I do, that's not a good investment for me. We do some radio still, but social media, that's where 95% of our advertising dollars go.
Yeah,
because it's the most powerful.
It's what 100% tax write-off.
It is. Yes.
Like it makes sense to do it that way.
And you know, we spoke earlier. It's not what you spend; it's the return you get on what you spent. So, I would spend $100,000 on advertising if it gave me $300,000 in return. You know.
I would. And some people would probably think, no, you would. Yes, you would.
Absolutely, I would do it every week. I sure would.
People like, I don't know if I would do it. I would, because I know I have. Because I know I had went a stretch where I spent like $300-$400. It was like probably in the span of 2-3 months just on ads. And it gave me a $2,000 wedding. Like, yeah, I do it every time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was like one of the first times I did it. And I was like, man,
yeah,
I don't care if I spent $3,000 this month. You know what I'm saying? I don't care.
That's a mute point. It doesn't matter.
As long as you spending something towards it. Like
That's
if
right.
you got the content, like, that's why I tell people, like, if you can get some type of content, if you are using your phone, use it. Make sure you just consistent. Like once a week.
That's the key.
That's the most important thing.
A lot of people I see, and we've been guilty of it before too. We go real hard in advertising, and then we don't do like for a week, and then we do nothing for 3 weeks. I'd rather be just consistent, nonstop, instead of hitting it real hard and then doing nothing, you know. But consistency, I think anybody would agree that is the key to advertising, or one of the big keys.
It is. I think that's every business though, because we get so busy and you're not doing it on purpose. It's just in fact, like, I got a lot I'm doing. And so you kind of don't have the time to do it. Like I have times where I didn't post a week or two. Yeah. I had that happen. But I make sure when I got back on it, I try to keep it where like, okay, it's coming. Right. It's coming every 2 days, 3 days. Then I'm always check. Like I probably check today. Like, okay, when last time I posted on Instagram? If it's been about 4 days, I'm probably finna try to find something to post. Simple as that. You know.
Yeah, and we've gotten to the point now to where we have a full-time advertiser. That's her only job, is to keep our marketing across all of our companies, because that is a lot. We got a lot of companies that do a lot of advertising, and so her job is to make sure that we're staying in the forefront of what people are seeing.
That's good. That's good to hear. I always tell people like, man, have something. Like even if you don't use me, have something, because at the end of the day, that's what I do with my corporate clients. I want them to grow. I want them to actually, I want them to learn something too. So that's why I kind of like educate them. Like, do it this way. If you got any questions, I can probably help you. You just gotta ask me. And I kind of give them the things that I've learned too, because I'm still learning too. But
that would be a great business model for you too. Is that if you got some people that you've worked for in the past, and I guess they could be a testimony to you to what you did for their business as far as sales before you got there, and sales after you handled their marketing for them. I don't know if there would be, I would think, many smart companies that would not hire somebody like you to just take charge of my marketing. Your job is to get customers to come in our front door. That would be be great for you and the customer.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So like I said, I learned this about for the past 2 years. Reason I experienced myself, I did it on me first. And like I told you, I did it with the weddings. I ended up I was posting, then I would put money in behind it. And I didn't put as much money in it behind it like I did, but I made sure I was consistent. But then I started realizing, like, this, while I was reading, like, okay, I'm seeing those aspects, like the people, my demographics, what they really like to see, what they don't really like to see. So I was learning that, and that's why I told you, like, one time, it's been a couple times in the past year or so that I spend just $13, $20, probably $40, and it gave me a wedding. So that's why I said I went from about 8 weddings one year to the next, it was 21 weddings, I want to say. Then next it was like 27. Then this year it's got to 30.
Yeah.
But then, like I told you, on the back end, when I was looking at all my books and stuff, I turned down 30. Right. So I was like, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
I'm doing something right.
Well, you know, the thing you have to, how Facebook works. So when you boost your ad, if you say you got $100 budget and you do it for 5 days, they're going to allot X amount of dollars per day. Yeah. So 5 into 100 is $9, and no, it'd be $11. If you spend, so you got $11 a day for 5 days. If you spend that $11 by 8 a.m., you've got no coverage the rest of that day on that boost. So what I do when I boost is I'll pick my days and I'll go $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is, because you're only paying if somebody clicks on it, or they have some type of, you know, it shows up. Yeah, it's and so, you know, I would just hate to spend $100 and by 8 o'clock in the morning, it's already gone. Spent that $11. Yeah. Nobody's going to see it for the rest of the day. Yeah. And so, you know, but you got to find your comfort zone, or whoever is doing it, find their comfort zone. Right. But again, let's get back to it. Doesn't matter what you spend, it matters what return you get, because from, you know, and you don't want to miss that window of opportunity when people, I don't know what the hours are when people are mostly on social media. I'm sure there's a statistic out there. Yeah. But that's when you definitely want to be visible on social media, is when the statistics say that more people are online looking. You know, I don't know if it's at night or during the work day. It just
depends for every person, because like my Instagram, it says people up more at 9 o'clock at night. Is that on a Thursday, and my Facebook say Monday and 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it be different. So you just have to look at it and just watch it. You have to, like, it's basically studying. It's like everything else. You have to, like, study it and be into it. If you're not into it, it's not gonna grow as you want it. So you might as well get serious with it. And I always tell people, it's, yes, you're gonna spend money, but it is an investment. Mentally, like spiritually, it's an investment. That's right. So, and it's gonna be worth it in the end, though.
Well, what social media has done for a lot of businesses, you know, back in the day, pre-social media, it was all about location. The location of your business, so you're so visible. Now, you can be in the backside of nowhere, but you're visible on social media, and they're going to find you that way. You know, it totally changed how business is in that aspect of location. It's still important. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not as important as it once was.
Yeah, we done had. I'm from a little old town, Houston. Only 3,000 people here. I work in Tennessee. I've been to Alabama. I've been to Georgia. I've been to Florida. I've been to Louisiana. So, like, yeah, social media is so. I'm in a little town. Nobody knows nothing about Houston, Mississippi.
Yeah, you are in a little town for sure.
And people say, "You from Houston, Texas?" No, that's not where I'm from. Yeah. And the simple fact that I can work in different states and don't have to work in my hometown and still make a great living, absolutely, should tell you something. Absolutely, it should tell you something. So that's all I tell people: just make that investment. I promise you, it's gonna be well worth it.
It will.
Just get expert, somebody. Like me, or just if you know somebody that's doing it, listen to them. Listen, find different ways of how they doing it.
That's exactly right. So,
but
I agree.
Man, it's a lot, man. Is there anything that you wanted to share? Because, man, I know pretty much we hit a lot of points. Yeah. But is there anything that you just want to share?
Well, just to reiterate, you know, I get asked so many times because I did grow up poor with no capital. You know, I had no money. How did you go from that to this? And I want anybody that watches this that I want to definitely say again, which I have said many times in other social media stuff, but I'm not educated. I'm not the smartest person. And if I can do it, literally anybody can do it. Anybody can do what I have done. But if you don't have the discipline to do it, you will never succeed in it. And you've got to be willing to outwork every single person around you. And I say all the time, you may be smarter than me, but you're not going to outwork me. But work hard while you're young, save your money, and invest it into residual income in real estate, and you will become a very, very wealthy person before you know it. Keep your head down. I told somebody yesterday, keep your head down and don't look up for 10 years. And when you look up, you're going to be like, wow, how did I get here? Because I have asked myself that question. Like, with my, I don't understand how I got to where I'm at today. I really don't. I mean, it's amazing, and I'm not saying that boastfully.
Yeah.
But I can't believe at what I have, that what God has allowed me to accomplish when it comes to assets and money producing assets. But work hard, save your money. What you're trying to do is get 20% investments. And basically what I'm saying is, if you have a property and it's $100,000, the bank is going to loan you $80,000, 80%. You've got to be able to save up enough money to put that down payment down into this deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you save up more money.
Right.
And you get another 20% down payment, and then another 20% down payment, and then you get all these money producing assets coming in. Well, then you go back to your first one. Well, now it's built some equity for you.
Right. Yeah.
Now you can go back and refi that and get money out of it to go get into more deals.
Right.
And it just has a snowball effect.
Yeah.
But you just gonna have to be disciplined, and very unfortunately, not everybody is able to do that, to be disciplined and to say no to liability, buying liabilities instead of buying money producing assets. So my thing is, I love to help people, but you got to follow the plan. And I just encourage people to reach out to me, and I would love to just give them encouraging words, or, give them some advice, and because I love to see people win. I want everybody to win in life, and that is something that brings me great joy.
Yeah. I'm the same way, because I have had in the past people come in and they just chat with me, and I always make sure I got time for them and stuff, because I've been to that point where I didn't know, like, I still feel like I don't know at times, but I didn't know what I was gonna do or where I was gonna be, and I always let people know, like, I was just like you. Like, literally, you see what I have, but I was just like you. I'm still am. I'm trying just as hard as you, whether it look like it or not.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't know a lot of stuff. And so, I'm the same way. Like, if I can help you by words or encourage, like, whatever. If I know if I can help you, I would do so. And that's one of my biggest goals, is to help people anyway too. So. And
the thing that we have to realize is there's people always watching what we're doing.
They are.
And you never know how encouraging you're being to somebody.
No.
Whether it's something you say, you post on social media, something that they saw you do kind in public to somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody's always watching. First and foremost, the Lord's always watching, and we want to honor Him in everything that we do. But little acts of kindness, to me, just goes a long way. And words of encouragement and words of kindness, and that's something that I try to do. I'm sure I have failed at it at times, but I just love to, people send me messages all the time on social media telling me that they go to my page every day.
Yeah.
To look for what I'm gonna post today, because it's encouraging to them.
Yeah.
And they love my story. They love where I came from, and it gives them hope that they can get themselves out of the situation that they're in, financially speaking. And so, being that I can do that, I just love that, and that's why I keep doing it. Sharing my story.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to share my story in bits and pieces along the way on my social media platforms.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, I told you that before. I'm grateful that you gave me the opportunity to film that campaign video for you. I know probably a lot of people didn't know I filmed it, but I seen the reactions, the comments, and I was like, man, he got a lot of views.
Yeah.
But you know, I knew you was representing well though, and you know, when I look back at it, I was like, man, he really got to tell his story and how he came about, and his real like motivation behind it all too. And so I'm thankful that I was able to do that for you too. Yeah. And that I got to work with you. You
did a great job on that.
I never did get to talk to you in person about that. I just realized
you did a fantastic job on that. And my thing about politics and holding a public office, financially speaking, that's the worst thing I could ever do, is to hold a public office, because I would lose money doing that because of what a public office pays versus what I could be if I was focused on my own business, be making the revenue. I would lose money to be that, but my desire to help people
was the most
is so strong that I am more than willing to do that. And I hope that one day, you know, my friends try to talk me out of trying to be in public office, but being representation for the everyday working class person, I would just love the opportunity one day to be in a position to where I could help people and stand for people and represent people with those same values that I have, you know. And so you did a great job on that campaign video. I still have it today, and I still watch it sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's great.
And there was a lot of compliments.
I seen that.
You got off of that.
I seen what they were saying about you, and I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm speaking on my behalf. When I was seeing some of the comments, of course, you got a lot of good ones, and you got some that was like, well, why? Yeah. But like, when I watched that video, I was like, how can you dislike a person, man? How? You know, like
every move you make is you're gonna have some negative.
You are.
It just is what it is. So I accept it with grace, and you know, but you did a great job.
I appreciate it, man.
You did.
I appreciate it.
But you know, I love my haters. I really do. I love them. They encourage me. They motivate me, and I love them. Just, you know, obviously I appreciate the people who love me and who support me, but you know, haters, we all have them.
Yeah, we do.
If you don't have them right now, you're going to.
I do got them.
Yeah. Most of us do.
I promise you I have.
And the bigger you go in this, and the more you do in life, the more you're going to have, unfortunately. So, but I just had to learn to embrace them and understand that's just part of the process.
Yeah. I don't think about it, but I know I had people, like said, when I got to the studio, they was like, he ain't gonna make it in Houston. I had people say that. Yeah. And then, of course, with my whole career, I had people said I was dumb, because I actually, you know, I could have went to college. I was smart enough to go. I had an offer to go play, and when I used to go back out into the city that summer, they was like, you ain't doing that no more. I'm like, nah, I'm finna do this though. And they be like, yeah. They just nod their head. And I'm like, no, I got a plan. I was kind of telling them about it. And I was like, man, that's crazy. You know, I actually have a plan. It ain't like I'm saying, well, I don't know. I'm saying what I'm gonna do. Right. And they still like, nah, you should have never quit that. So I took that as motivation. Absolutely. And I was like, you know what? One day they gonna see me, they gonna watch me, and they gonna be like, dang, he really did what he said he was gonna do. So I had some of my own friends way back when I first started, because they were doing things and I didn't attend because I was working, and they was like, Chad, why are you working so much? You're never gonna be a millionaire right here in Pontotoc. I said, well, okay. Well, thank you for that extra motivation. Yeah, that's crazy. But that's wild. Yeah, it's man, people like you and I who have that internal drive. I hope others will pick up on that and feed on it, you know, and help them be successful in whatever it is they're doing, for sure. But shoot, I don't have anything else. Like I say, if you got anything else, I don't really have anything, because that was great. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed you, man. Man, yeah, I really did. Very much. And man, I guess we could just end the video there, man. Okay, if you can. But man, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, I enjoyed it. There's a lot of knowledge here. a man with, I say, a high value man here that gave some great knowledge. If you're a young person that's learning, trying to get a business or just self-development, this video was perfect. It was perfect. I even learned some stuff. You can always learn things, but like I said, I appreciate you, Chad, for coming on. And yeah, I know we're gonna be working in the future.
Absolutely, look forward to it.
Most definitely.
We'll do it again.
Most definitely. But yeah, if y'all enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. And hey, Konnect Media out.